Hi everybody. Today we're going to begin our unit on the ecology of plants. And ecology is all about interactions and relationships. So for this chapter we're going to talk about how plants interact with the environment and the relationships that people and plants have with each other. So the first relationship or interaction we're going to talk about is the predator-prey relationship. Now if you're a plant, you're most likely down on the bottom of the food chain. And in this predator-prey relationship, they're going to be the prey, and they provide food for the predator. So anything that eats the plant would be a plant predator. The dinosaurs were the largest predators that ever walked the planet, if you're a plant. So plants have evolved several defenses to be prevented by being consumed by the dinosaurs and other predators. All right. Remember that growing super tall and the adaptation of wood, right, was important, right? It was trying to get out of the reach of dinosaurs. So that's one defensive adaptation, right? If you evolve thorns, right, that makes a predator less likely to consume you. You're more likely going to eat the plant that doesn't have thorns. Right? There's other plants that evolve toxins, right? In South America, many plants evolved this toxin called curare, which is a poison, and if you eat it, it causes paralysis for animals. However, this change in the plants, the development of curare, sparks a change in the animals that rely on these plants for their survival. And this type of evolution is a process known as coevolution. Right? So it's when an organism evolves one adaptation, and in turn, that triggers a response in the second organism. The best example I can give you of coevolution doesn't come from the plant kingdom, but from the animal kingdom. Everybody knows that cheetahs are the fastest animals on land. But did you know that gazelles are the second fastest animal on land? And cheetahs almost exclusively eat gazelles? Do you think it's a coincidence that the fastest land animal hunts and eats the second fastest land animal? And no, it's not a coincidence. You see, if you're born a cheetah and you happen to be a slow cheetah, you're not likely to survive because you can't catch any gazelles and you're going to starve to death. And if you're born a gazelle and you just happen to be a slow gazelle, you're not going to survive because you're going to get eaten by a cheetah. So through evolution, as cheetahs get faster and faster, the gazelles get faster and faster. And as the gazelles get faster, the cheetahs get faster. They're driving each other's evolution. So if we go back to these poisonous plants in South America, the plant evolves the poison curare. Now, this frog here didn't take this bite out of the leaf. It was some insect eating this leaf. And that insect was able to eat the leaf because it evolved tolerance to this toxin curare. But now, this frog eats those insects. In order for that frog to survive, it also has to evolve tolerance to the curare toxin. Over time, what happens is that these plants get more toxic, and then through the food web, these frogs become more and more toxic. These frogs are so toxic that they're oozing toxin from their skin, which is why we call them poison dart frogs, because you can rub a dart onto those frogs, and now you have this poisonous dart that you can shoot at your enemies that we see down here. There are some plants that have completely flipped over that predator-prey relationship, and these are the carnivorous plants. It's a very, very small group of plants. But all these plants have adaptations that allow them to trap and digest insects. Right, up here we have the pitcher plant, which has these cup-shaped leaves. The insects fall into this cup, and they're digested by digestive enzymes that collect the bottom of it. Here we have the sundew plant. It has little drops of glue, and this mosquito lands on it. It gets stuck, and very, very slowly this leaf wraps around this trapped insect and dissolves it. And over here we have the Venus flytrap, right, which grows in the swamplands of North and South Carolina. These leaves are on a hinge, and they snap shut like a bear claw when they're triggered, trapping and digesting this little fly that's inside. The one thing that all three of these carnivorous plants have in common is that they all grow in areas that have very, very poor soil. So trapping and eating these insects is not like a meal. They don't get any energy from that. They get all their energy from photosynthesis, which begs the question, why kill the insects? And they do it as kind of like a fertilizer. right? They get the nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus from the insects that most plants would just get from the soil. The last thing I want to talk about today is competition. And competition is a unique interaction among organisms because it's the only interaction that harms all species involved. So in nature, organisms are always trying to minimize competition the best they can. So you have competition when you have two organisms that both require the same limited resource at the same time. If you're a plant, that means that you're competing with your neighboring plants for sunlight, and you're competing for water in the soil and nutrients in the soil. You're going to be competing for pollinators. There's lots of different resources that plants compete for. If one plant is a better competitor, it's going to obtain more of that resource and can prevent the other plant from growing to its full population size or growing to its full potential, or even wipe out that non-competitive plant completely. Alright guys, I'll stop there for today. Thank you.